DevOps enthusiast, is the Chief Technology Officer at Snapper Future Tech. He's amongst the top 30 influencers of blockchain in India. He co-leads the India chapter of Hyperledger and plays an active role across the Hyperledger community. In a few minutes from now, our speaker will be sharing his story about the potential of blockchain, its rising enterprise adoption, and how Hyperledger can collaborate with the blockchain space. With that, it's now time to heartily welcome onto our screens Mr. Kamlesh Nagware.
Hi, DevOps India community. I'm Kamlesh Nagware, CTO at Snapper Future Tech and Hyperledger India chapter co-lead and Hyperledger TSC member. So today we're going to talk about the enterprise blockchain, especially the Hyperledger frameworks. So before going to Hyperledger and other enterprise blockchain frameworks, let's first start with what is a blockchain. So blockchain is a simply distributed database, typically in very common language, is a time-stamp series record of data that is distributed across the cluster of computers. And cryptography is a very essential part of the blockchain system because whatever the data we are writing in a ledger, this is a timestamp with a cryptographic algorithm encryption. And using this thing, it will bring the security because whatever the data we are writing, that has timestamp plus cryptographic signed. So nobody can modify the data. Another is single source of truth because blockchain is a number of nodes together. So if one of the node having some wrong data, then it will be broadcasted to other also. So typically all the blockchain node having the same data. So is a single source of truth. Disintermedia. So because blockchain is trying to solve removing the middleman from the businesses. So because currently we need the middleman because we don't trust each other while doing a business. Like for example, take example of the banking system where SWIFT is a play important role while doing the international cross-border payment. Because every bank has their own database and own system too, and then do the reconciliation later. But if we are a part of the same blockchain network where we are doing this business together, then this intermediate picture can be removed. Transparency is trust. So data is recorded in immutable manner using cryptographic sign distributed across nodes. So who are in the business trust to each other and trust to the data, what they are writing. Because blockchain is a distributed database, security via the cryptography, and what is the data being updated in the ledger is approved by all the parties in the system. So this being the trust and transparency in the system. So this is a typical, very simple definition of blockchain. And if you're talking about the blockchain, if you not talk about the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, then it's not fair. So it all started with Bitcoin when 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto mentioned about the Bitcoin white paper, and this Bitcoin white paper later created as a peer-to-peer transactional system which called as a Bitcoin blockchain, and with the Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, and there people can transact to each other without having a central party because this is a peer-to-peer transaction, and transaction is shared to each other without having any third party, and these are the Bitcoins, some kind of cryptocurrency, and it's very flexible value, and that's why there's lots of hype and misconception about the community, about the cryptocurrency in the community, and then there is a regulation in place by the different countries and government to take in the place. So that was the cryptocurrency era and Bitcoin era. Later, in 2013, this Vitalik Buterin, which is the founder of the Ethereum is one of the open source blockchain and open source community to build the blockchain and adding another feature called smart contract, which is very important piece of the blockchain to go to the next level. Because earlier you can't program the things on a blockchain, you just do some peer-to-peer cryptocurrency transaction that was only available in the Bitcoin. When this smart contract feature added, which is by the Ethereum Foundation, then you could write your business logic, you could write your data, ledger, anything you want to write and store in the blockchain that can be done via this Ethereum blockchain and smart contract feature. And that's the start of this programmable blockchain, dApps, NFTs, and ICO, STOs, and lots of different applications being built on Ethereum blockchain. But later, because still we are in public blockchain, but later then Hyperledger, which is a Linux Foundation project, started to bring this technology to wider audience, and not just the cryptocurrency and tokens, but other than use cases like supply chain, like digital identity, like banking system, where they could use these technologies to bring the trust and transparency in the existing legacy system. So there's a motive of starting the Hyperledger Foundation. So we'll go in the Hyperledger Foundation detail, but before that, first let's understand what are the different blockchains. So we talk about the public blockchain. The public blockchain is a blockchain where all the transactions being recorded in one of the open ledger is simply considered like a kind of open database where every transaction, every application writing their own database and doing transactions. So this is completely kind of trustless system simply. And like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Algorand, Polygon is a couple of public blockchain example. Then private blockchain come in the picture when as per the business need or as per the enterprise need, you could create your own blockchain. For example, if you are a banking system, you could create your own system. If you are a supply chain company and working with a couple of suppliers and buyers, you create your own system to onboard all your supplier buyer on a system and then do your business on that platform, because it will bring the trust and transparency in the system. And then other kind of blockchain where some consortium created, like insurance consortium, like banking, or like automobile, or any kind of businesses come together and create their own consortium to build some solution. So this is a typical type of blockchain, and there are a number of such blockchain frameworks out in the community, out in the industry, but mostly people know about the Ethereum and Hyperledger, but there are many. So Hyperledger as a stock is a blockchain framework foundation by Linux Foundation. Linux Foundation is a open source community, open source foundation to bring the open source software development across the industry, across the tech. Even Node.js is one of the open source project by Linux Foundation, like native cloud computing, or security foundation, healthcare foundation is a part of the Linux Foundation, and Hyperledger is one of them. Ethereum is a public blockchain and a platform and a open source code to build the application on using the Ethereum source code. Then multi-chain. So when this blockchain is being trended, so a couple of different companies and communities started the different protocols to solving, but all the blockchain framework with the same similar concept: trust, transparency, security, and distributed ledger. And then R3 Coda, which is one of the enterprise blockchain for solving especially the financial services and banking and insurance kind of use cases. Then Quorum, which is started by JP Morgan to address the use cases around the financial services. And even there are many such projects and framework like Algorand, like Polygon, like Neo blockchain, like Near blockchain, Celo. I think there will be hundred of blockchains. So, but our topic is to discuss about the Hyperledger. So, Hyperledger technically is a modular approach to hosting a different blockchain projects, not target to the specific blockchain project like Fabric. Is a ecosystem of different projects, and each different projects could address the different particular industries. So, I will talk about those in details later. So simply, the Hyperledger is a Linux Foundation projects to provide the infrastructure for open development of blockchain projects and community development across the enterprise and business umbrella. So, typically in Hyperledger, there are a number of projects and is categorized in distributed ledgers. So, distributed ledger is which simply says the core blockchains like Ethereum, like R3 Coda. But there are a number of libraries and like tools and some domain specific projects are created to faster and efficient development of the blockchain projects using the above ledgers. So like for example, Ethereum is one blockchain ledger, but in Hyperledger we have a number of ledgers like Hyperledger Besu, which is the Ethereum private ledger for the enterprise perspective. Then Hyperledger Bureau is a permission kind of a smart contract. For example, if you want to run a Solidity smart contract on a private permission environment, then Burrow is the right thing to do. Then Fabric is a very generic blockchain framework to write and build any generic blockchain application. It could be supply chain, it could be finance, it could be tokenization. Then Hyperledger Indy, which is especially for the identity management kind of use cases. Iroha for the lightweight mobile blockchain networks, and then Satos for supply chain specific. Then libraries for this thing. So I will talk about this in detail later also in my presentation. So typically this is a Hyperledger greenhouse is having a number of projects. So Hyperledger started in 2015 around December to provide and build the community around the business and enterprise use case of blockchain rather than cryptocurrency. And that's the reason Hyperledger not having any cryptocurrency like Ethereum, like other blockchains has. Because motive of the Hyperledger Foundation to build the software source code community to build the blockchain application on top of it. So in the 5 years, how it grows, so is more than 15 projects and more than 5 projects in a production stage. One project like Hyperledger Fabric is very mature and mostly used in the industry, having the 2.0 release also, and even going to be released 2.5 in the couple of months. While building a project, always you need some kind of training and certification. So Hyperledger also provide the training and certification courses and training partner to build around use cases. So even like we are also one of the training partner of the Hyperledger. And then if you're building a tech and if you're not involving the specific domain and a specific community, then you're just building a tech. So but Hyperledger is building community also. So there are a number of special interest group targeting a specific industries in supply chain, in financial services, in a banking, in a healthcare, to address the particular segment. And all this platform is open and public. Anybody can join the meeting and learn what is happening in the particular industry and particular company doing what. And then 180 plus meetup worldwide, then 80,000 plus meetup participant. And also community is growing and communities support to different regional chapters. There are 6 plus regional chapters and India is one of them. So the target of regional chapter to support the Hyperledger adoption and education about the Hyperledger projects across the community, across the region. So Hyperledger India, Hyperledger Australia, Hyperledger Brazil, few of the regional chapters, and I represent the Hyperledger India and lead the Hyperledger India chapter. So we talk about it because this need to be convey the message, because mostly people think blockchain is just cryptocurrency and tokens, but it's beyond that. And this picture shows like how blockchain is being used across the industry without considering having a use case of cryptocurrency. So actually Forbes report every year, they report top 50 blockchain companies valued more than $1 billion and using blockchain technologies. So there are hundreds, thousand companies using blockchain, but this blockchain Forbes 50 report select the top 50 companies having a more than $1 billion revenue and building something on blockchain. So if you see this report, more than 60% of the blockchain companies are using the Hyperledger, and rest of the companies multiple, maybe Coda, maybe Quorum, maybe Must, someone using their own blockchain, because blockchain is one general concept. Whether you use any framework or you create your own blockchain framework is up to you. But depending on the complexity, depending on the community, people use their specific frameworks. So if you see this report by Forbes, there are Boeing, there is BHP, there is DTCC, there is Musk, and there is Oracle, Samsung, IBM, ING. So there are different segments of the industries are using blockchain, not just the specific like finance or banking, like here is insurance, here is a manufacturing, here is a kind of fancy services, here is supply chain. So the Musk is one of the biggest use case of the Hyperledger Fabric in the trade, finance, and supply chain use case. Oracle is in gutter use cases, and there's Walmart must be here also. They're using the supply chain for their food traceability across the US. So these are the use cases, but because technology is growing, technologies need lots of advancement, lots of research and development. So Hyperledger also provides the Hyper labs where anybody can propose a project or work on something very interesting idea. It could be use case, it could be new advancement, new contribution to the project, or maybe new blockchain itself. So there are more than 50 different Hyper labs available, and this is a top most active lab project, and this could even become the next main project in the future. Like for example, blockchain automation framework, which is a which is even recently become a top level project called Hyperledger Bevel, and this is typically where the DevOps people can come in the picture and can build the blockchain automation framework. That means you use the blockchain and how to deploy efficiently using the DevOps pipeline or DevOps tool sets. And then a couple of different use cases or solutions like Solang, kind of writing a smart contract in Soul language, and Solidity language in Hyperledger, because Solidity mainly for the Ethereum. Then Mini Fabric, then blockchain carbon accounting, the project which is initiated by the Climate Action Accounting Group. Interoperability is the biggest challenge and bigger requirement by the industry. So there are a number of initiatives in the community where like Beaver, like Cactus, like UE Fabric, IBC, interblockchain communication. So all these are different initiatives to bring the blockchain to the next level to become interoperable like internet is today. And because I mentioned like there are lots of advancement and new initiatives happening. So there are a number of projects and course contribution by the different companies. Like this is Fabric Operation Console, which is contributed to IBM. So IBM has their own automated blockchain platform called IBM Blockchain Platform, and they open source their blockchain management console to the Hyperledger community. So anybody can build their own operation console and operational tools to operate the Fabric blockchain network. And then couple of libraries like Firefly, which is one of the multi-party system, which has recently become one of the new blockchain project for kind of developing and deploying a kind of multi-party system where multi-party systems for combating a specific use case. A BFT library where the new innovation happening to support the new algorithms for the faster and efficient algorithms and kind of performance and scalability of the blockchains. Like for example, like currently Hyperledger Fabric support around 20,000 TPS, but in the enterprise world where we're running the blockchains for any financial system, it could be maybe run 50,000 TPS. For example, like MasterCard and Visa maybe process more than 50,000 TPS. So building those kind of innovation, there are a number of initiatives going on in the lab project to bring those things. And interoperability is another industry need, because we can't and everybody can't force a specific industry to use a specific blockchain framework. Maybe for example, like maybe HSBC Bank using the R3 quota, or maybe Citibank using the Fabric, or maybe someone else using something else. So how all this application could interoperate and work together. So this protocols is going to be help and address those particular problem. So a blockchain is not the new. There are a number of projects available, which is developed and deployed by community and companies in specific segments. So if you go to the Hyperledger showcase, you can find the number of projects available which companies develop and deployed. And to support the development and deployment of these projects, Hyperledger has their certified service provider ecosystem where they have a listed and certified companies, deep expertise companies who can help any company or any solution to build around Hyperledger technologies. And even one of my companies part of this global Hyperledger certified service provider. And many are there like Cheniard, like IBM, like Accenture, like Tech Mahindra, who are building and helping companies to build a Hyperledger fabric or Hyperledger based solution. So and there are also a couple of different low code, no code, which is typically a new technology innovation where you could deploy a blockchain solution or any kind of solution without writing a code, kind of low code, no code kind of solution. So couple of like Oracle, where you can just write a smart contract and then it will create your blockchain network or your application front end easily to, and even you can write your smart contract in very business language. No need to be having some kind of programming language. So all this effort also happening in the blockchain space to how businesses and enterprises could use the blockchain technology without facing the deployment or technological issue. And the similar kind of initiatives uh, by the different cloud providers that we'll talk about later. So this is a global community, more than 180 groups and 77,000 members in 80 plus countries, and you can see the map here. And then a special interest group. So uh, uh, in the Hyperledger community, is just not the source code, not the technical part, but is also providing the platform and the exposure to build across the use cases and providing the companies specifically working in the space like healthcare, telecom, climate, or even you are working in the segment and which is not covered here. Even you can propose creating one new SIG. For example, like recently this media and entertainment SIG created to cover the use cases built in media and entertainment, like for example IP right management or maybe metaverse, NFT kind of initiative. So this SIGs cover the use cases and industry segment kind of initiative to provide the platform to companies and the people who are building or who are doing something in this specific industry. So Hyperledger is going to talk about in detail about what are the different Hyperledger projects and they're categorized. Like for example, a distributed ledger. So in Hyperledger, we have set of different projects. Some are DLTs, some are the libraries, some are the tools, some the domain specific. So DLT is simply the projects who having a ledger, distributed ledger, and some programming and some smart contract feature and governance of the code that come under the category of DLTs. For example, like Ethereum is one DLT, RC code is one DLT, but similarly in the Hyperledger DLTs. So there are 5 to 6 different DLTs. So one is Hyperledger Fabric, which is very popular and very generic blockchain framework to build the enterprise use cases across the industry. Is it industry agnostic? You could create supply chain solution, you could banking, you could create tokenization, you could NFT, or any kind of thing you want to do in a business case could be used. And that's why it's a very popular and widely used, and that's why all the major cloud provide the Hyperledger Fabric as a blockchain as a service. That means you could create your blockchain network, very less knowledge of the framework and the code. Simply click manage. You could create a complete blockchain network. Then another blockchain framework is Sawtooth, which is one of the blockchain framework specific target for supply chain solution and comes with a different consensus mechanism like proof of elapsed time where the Intel CPU's clock time considered for cutting a block instead of some software algorithm. And you could write some Solidity or Ethereum virtual machine smart contract also on the Sawtooth using the Hyperledger Bureau. Hyperledger Indy, which is mostly used in the digital credential or identity management use case, and that's why mostly certificate or digital credential, identity management, credential verification are building on this Hyperledger Indy. Like for example, British Columbia, Ontario government are using the Indy for building their e-governance platform and e-governance solution on Indy. Bureau, which is a kind of blockchain framework to bring the interoperability between the Fabric and Ethereum. For example, you could run your Ethereum smart contract same manner in a Fabric component. Then Iroha is a very lightweight protocol to run a blockchain code in some mobile kind of environment, because generally blockchain frameworks are very heavyweight compared to other applications, and this is written in C++. So one thing you notice here, like blockchain is not any specific to language. Different protocols use a different languages, is starting from C++ to Go, JavaScript, Java, Node.js, and Rust, Solidity. So there's no any kind of specific experience needed for the specific person to start the blockchain career. It could be any language, or maybe normal computer science graduate can learn the blockchain. So another like is the Hyperledger Besu, where you could create a private version of Ethereum. So because Ethereum is a public blockchain, but if you need the Ethereum kind of feature like tokenization, like proof of work, proof of stable algorithm, and want to run efficient code in a private environment, then you use the Besu. So Besu is one of the Ethereum client written in Java to connect to the Ethereum public blockchain. Also create your own blockchain network with customized algorithms like proof of work, like proof of authority, IBFT, this thing. And so these are the top DLTs in a Hyperledger foundation. That comes with complete set of features any blockchain has, like smart contract, governance, consensus, or ledger. Then there are some other Hyperledger projects called especially for the some kind of support and advancement to the running the existing DLTs. For example, like Hyper Aries. So when you're building a blockchain application using the Hyperledger Indy, and you want to write some kind of SDK or some kind of interface, your backend code, then you could use the Aries libraries or Aries framework code, which is available in .NET, JavaScript, React, and Python also. So a kind of top layer running on the blockchain to interact with the front end, interact with the user, and interact with the blockchain layer. Another library like Ursa. So because generally blockchain is cryptographic based ledger, or cryptography is mostly used in all the transaction, all the communication. So and currently mostly blockchain use the SHA-256, but as per the geography or as per the different cryptography algorithm we need some kind of customization. For example, like suppose if someone want to use the MD5, or maybe someone want to use the specific geographic algorithm. For example, like China has their own cryptographic algorithm. So this Hyperledger ULSA is provide the one of the interface to plug and play of this cryptographic algorithm on the blockchain ledgers. And then Transact. So because like if you see, like every blockchain uses the different kind of smart contract language. Like for example, Ethereum use Solidity, Fabric use Go and Java, Sawtooth use Rust, and even not just language, even they have on their set of smart contract engine to run this business logic. But for example, if you're running a enterprise system, and suppose you currently build system on maybe R3 Coda, later you want to build system on Fabric, maybe migrate, then maybe you need to rewrite. But if you use this Hyperledger Transact as a smart contract layer interoperable solution, that means you can write a code in one particular language in Transact framework, and then it could be run on any kind of blockchain. So you don't need to be migration or those kind of issues. Cactus, where we need the interoperable between the different blockchain like R3 Coda, like Fabric, like Quorum, like Indy, Besu. You could use this Cactus, which is also in production level, production stage project, where it could be used to solve the interoperability between the blockchains. So then comes the tools. So tools are some kind of making the deployment and development or monitoring or some additional features on this blockchain. So like for example, Caliper is a benchmarking tool. When you want to benchmark the performance of the blockchain network, your application, then you can use the Caliper. So Caliper also use the heavy weight of the DevOps or some kind of scripting languages or scripting framework like Docker, Kubernetes, or Python or Shell scripting to do the automated testing of the load. Then Celo is a completely kind of deployment tool to deploy the blockchain network across platform, container, cloud, Swarm, Kubernetes, or maybe on-premise. Then Explorer is kind of while you are running a code and some new block is being added, where you can visualize, where you can see the history of those data. So this Explorer can be tool can be integrated with uh, existing ledger. Then Avalons, I mentioned, like there are new feature and new advancement. Suppose, for example, like Avalon is one of the new concept called trusted execution environment, which is a kind of zero knowledge proof kind of business logic execution on the cloud. So how blockchain could use this feature and get enabled on the ledger. So Avalon is one of the library, one of the project which enable the existing project to write a code and write a build solution which could be compliant as per this trusted execution environment. For example, like Intel SGX, there is a TE level component where you could run a code without exposing a actual your information data, kind of zero knowledge proof kind of context execution. And then there are a number of different library labs and innovation happening, ideas which could be contributed or suggested or maybe initiated by any community or any people who want to build something, who are building something, who want to make it open source or giving back to the community, could be the first stage of the Hyperledger Labs. So, and technically all these Hyperledger projects getting started with Hyperledger Labs only. And many projects like I might talk about the Skecters, I talk about the Bevel, Aries, all this started as a labs, and then now it become full-fledged blockchain framework in the Hyperledger community. So yeah, thank you for this invitation, and nice talking to you.